Welcome back to Our World with Black Enterprise. Chris Rock's movie Good Hair has brought public a discussion that black folks have had for a mighty long time. In our roundtable discussion, we explore the notion of kinks and curls. I'm joined by Malinda Williams, a very familiar face, an actress who is also working with the Take Wings Foundation. That's a foundation that works with underprivileged young women in the Bay Area. Professor Noliwe Rooks, Associate Director of African American Studies at Princeton University. She's also the author of Hair Raising, Beauty, Culture, and African American Women. And psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor. I welcome you all, ladies. Thank you very much. Let me start with you. You wrote this book. Talk to us about the idea and identity, particularly for black women, of hair and themselves.
Yeah, one of the things that I explore in the book is that the way that for African American women, a lot of ideas about beauty and femininity are in our hair. The idea of cutting your hair, the idea of not having it be long and flowing, led some black women to truly believe that they would disappoint the men in their lives, and it deeply impacted the ways that they saw themselves in the relationships with their bodies.
Yeah, doctor, it's interesting to me because we have seen a sense, particularly over the last, I don't know, put a number on it, 15, 20 years, where the idea of wearing your hair in a more natural state has been adopted much better in our community than it was before. Yet, we have also seen the invasion of the weave, the wig, the extension, the whatever else you put in there. So talk to me about that dual dynamic that seems to be going on.
Well, you know, I think there is this idea of what ideal beauty is, and somehow for some people, they still can't get away from the long hair, straight hair, even if you have to buy it. But I think it goes back to our relationship with our mothers. It goes back to our relationship with society in general in terms of what we see as ideal beauty. And I think I love when I see women with natural hair, and I love when I see women who have weaves, as long as they are confident and feel good about themselves, and that's the main goal. But
and that is matching.
And it's matching.
That's important too.
Exactly. But the bottom line is, as women, and I think as black women, we still struggle with who we are and how we look the best, and that is what we really need to work on.
You talk to me about the sense of image. Now, you have a beautiful haircut, and many people talk about your hair and the idea that, you know, often it's short and in a style that everybody likes. Yet I know Hollywood will press and press and press for a certain look, even for black actresses. Talk to me about the pressure you've seen with that.
First of all, thank you for the compliment. It is a big thing for us in society, and everything in Hollywood tends to be a magnification of what's going on in society.
There is a sense also of the joking side that we all have. Clean your kitchen up. I mean, we all can go around with the jokes, but there is a lot of hurt that has gone on through the years. Psychologically, what has it done to not just women, but our community in general, do you think?
Well, I think for black women, their hair is as strong as an identifier as the color of their skin and the condition of their hair and how people respond to us. So if you think about if someone has, you know, nappy hair or their hair is straight, I mean, it really reflects on how they feel. And that can go, I mean, I have 4 daughters, all of them are different complexion, different types of hair. And, you know, as when they were younger, I used to have to bite my tongue in terms of not saying, oh, your hair is nice or this or that, because from a psychological perspective, I know how it affects us. And I think so many women and men, fathers, with good intentions don't realize the impact that they may have when they make a distinction between good hair and bad hair.
So who are women doing it for? Because I will tell you the truth. If you got a fly haircut, as Malinda does, brothers really don't care as much anymore that it isn't flowing down to your butt. And often we laugh and tease without you all in the room and know that, well, they bought that. So who are they doing it for?
Good to know that insight, right?
You know, Steve Harvey and I are going to give you the real deal. Who are they doing it for then?
I think, unfortunately, by the time you're a woman, you are conditioned to do it a certain way. And again, it begins with the mother and child. And you hate to blame the mother or put that responsibility on the mother, but I think as black mothers with our daughters, we just really have to recognize the messages that we give. For example, there was an article in the New York Times last week about this movie, and there was a 14-year-old girl who was getting a weave, and she was so proud because she was getting a weave, and her mother's like, yes, I was so happy. This is a real sign of her first sign of womanhood. And I thought, wow, that is not a sign of womanhood. And if we reinforce those messages, when this young girl is an adult, she's going to feel like it has to be longer and flowing more.
Professor, how can we take what we see about the hair and really extend it to confidence, or, as this mother said, womanhood? What's the danger of us not really addressing the idea of, particularly in our community beyond the hair, the whole idea of materialism, bling, and the like? How we've been talking about it for a long time, but how do we really get to the crux of that problem?
I'm always struck by the fact that there are so few images of black women with natural hair who are held up as icons. Right? I mean, if you think of performers, models, every so often there'll be a model maybe with natural hair, every so often. Not necessarily short hair, because Halle Berry kind of broke that open for us in some ways. But natural hair is still a kind of taboo in popular culture in terms of who you see as a working actress, who you see as a performer.
Let me ask you, with the movie sparking this discussion,
yes,
and as I said at the outset, we've had this discussion privately for a long time. What do you think has to be done?
Well, I think several things have to be done, and you know, I'm certainly no expert, but I definitely feel like one of the very important things that needs to be done is starting with our young girls, and we have to be careful about the messages that we send them.
And I would say, as parents, you know, we're role models, and as mothers, we can send those messages to our daughters in terms of beauty, and certainly not leaving people out. And I think not forgetting about our sons in terms of what we hold up as beauty. And when we point out someone, oh, aren't they attractive, or don't they look nice, to make that message to our sons, especially when we see someone that has such natural beauty as everybody, including myself, on this panel, because it's important that we get away from this notion of just celebrity and look at what people are doing in their day-to-day lives.
All right, ladies, hold that thought. We'll be right back.
You know what? That sounds like a challenge, actually. And, you know, as someone who is in the media, you know, I feel like I am doing my part to change the dynamic.